Welcome back. I'm Alfred Lammermont Weber, and today we're with a mutual friend and who has been waiting for quite a while to join us on his program, Gary Carlson. Welcome, Gary.
Carlson, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I'd like to just get a bit of an introduction to Gary. Gary and I met a couple of years ago when he and our friend Blair here in Vancouver came over to my house, and Gary specializes in checking your soul. And he has a website, which he'll tell you about, icheckyoursoul.com. So Gary did check my soul and had checked whether I was a wanderer or not, and he will tell you all about that. And it's all very, very interesting because it's the level of the soul. It's a realm that's non-local and it's outside of this time-space hologram that we're in. But it's very important for this work that we're doing now. And so I'm very happy that Gary has joined us. And what he has told me is that he's done about 1,200 soul reports and has discovered about what he calls 160, what he calls wanderers. But he'll tell you more about them.
Much higher now.
Yeah, more. And he'll about 70% of the websites that help humanity are run by wanderers. These are souls that he called wanderers, but hardly any of them get a soul report. I'm one of the few people that runs websites that's a wanderer that gets these soul reports. So there are about 65 million, if I understand it,
yes,
wanderers on the planet out of 7 billion souls.
One
out
out of every 4 people is a wanderer.
Okay, one out of every what?
1 out of every 104 people is a wanderer.
Okay. And so Gary and I have coordinated this program so that first you just get to know him a bit, just explain what a wanderer is and what a soul report is. I've asked him to read my soul report, just to let you know that information. I've got nothing to be ashamed of. I'm totally transparent. I made up my mind about that. And so you can get to know that, and perhaps you want to get a soul report from Gary as well. And then he has been using the same technique to explore the various densities. We're in a dimensional ecology. You can go more to my book on the Omniverse if you want to look at some of the other aspects of this and to various realms. So without further ado, Gary, the floor is yours.
Thank you. On a soul report, I made up a term called a soul score, and it's your percentage of love and service to others versus service to self. And the average score for the world is 44, or 44% love and service to others, and 56% service to self. To make ascension, you need to be positively polarized and have a soul score of over 50%. Or you can ascend negatively and be polarized negative with a soul score of 5 or under. And there's a chart on my website and everything of how it works. And then after I give the soul score, I ask what step they are on in third density, and and there's every density has 8 steps, and third density lasts for 3 cycles. A cycle is 25,920 years. So third density lasts for 77,760 years, and a little bit more until you make Ascension. And on the 8 steps, you live on a different planet for each step. And everybody has an oversoul that consists of 36 souls. When God makes the oversoul, and then you go into first density, and it splits 576 ways, and each soul keeps matter being made. And some people move up all the densities and do that, but most people go into plants and animals on second density, and then become people like us on third density. There's DNA is broadcasted from, there's 2 source fields. There's one big source field called the God consciousness that comes from the central God, and it's like an ether, and it's broadcasted over all the universes and all the voids. And in that God consciousness is 4 prime creators. And there are 4 different polarities, and they make all the universes. So then you go into the, and then there's a source field for each universe. And then God compresses some of the source field and makes oversouls inside the creation stars, or some people call them black holes, but it's unclear whether they're a black hole or not. And then in first density, the oversoul splits 576 ways, and you're appointed an assignment to keep matter being made somewhere in the universe for 8. You do it for 8 cycles, and you change your spot each cycle, get a more important spot. And there's 2 other higher souls that help you do the job of matter being made. So in case you slack off and don't do the job right, the matter won't get unmade. And then after you go through the 8 cycles, you go to second density. And that lasts for 5 cycles. And it also has 8 steps. And some people some of the souls keep matter being made, but about 96% of them or whatever, I think that's the number, incarnate into plants and animals. And you go through 5 different planets on that, and each step you become a more advanced animal or plant. Like the first step, you might be a simple thing like a tulip or something like that. And the last step, you might be an elephant or something, you know. Your oversoul might do elephants or whatever. I should explain the DNA a little better. There's 18 lines of DNA broadcasted from the God consciousness. And 12 of them, I say on my website, just have a consciousness, but it's probably more clear to say they have a low soul. And 6 of them have a regular soul or a high soul like we do. And the six that have a soul are trees, vegetables, and flowers, mammals, birds, and another animal group that doesn't exist on Earth. but I'm told it does exist on Mars. And then when you get to third density, six of those 18 lines of DNA can become a third density being. The ones with the high souls are mammals. 75% of the souls have mammal bodies. 25% have bird DNA or bird people. And about 3 out of 1,000 are vegetable people. And the highest class is vegetable, the next is birds, and the lowest is mammals, but they're all relatively close. And then the groups that have the low soul, there's 3 of those, and they're reptilians, or reptile DNA, insect DNA, or spider DNA. And the low soul has very little empathy for others. The high soul has like 10 times more empathy for others. So the high souls, like we got, usually goes on the positive path of love and service to others. And the low soul tends to go on the negative path, service to self, controlling or manipulating others. So, so when we got to people on Earth belong to a soul group that's called the Elohim, and it has 17 groups on 14 planets in 13 star systems. There's supposedly two groups on Mars, and one and humanity on Earth. And each step, your oversoul is taken to another planet, and then it divides in the same 36 ways, and you go through the step there. And the 8 steps the first step lasts for about 0.39 cycles. And each step gets a little bit longer. And the 8th step lasts for 0.57 cycles, or a little longer until you make Ascension. About 10% of the people on Earth are qualified for Ascension. They've completed the 8 steps. And they got enough time in on the 8th step to make Ascension. And I can find out if you're one of them through a soul report.
What exactly does Ascension mean?
Ascension means moving from the 3rd step to the 4th step. And there's actually 7 realms. And each realm has the color instead of the densities. Like before, like we're in the red realm, and then the 2nd realm is orange, and the 3rd realm is yellow, and blue, indigo, violet, like you'd see on those charts for chakras and stuff. It's the same way. Getting slightly confused here. So when you make Ascension, you go to, if you got a low soul, you go to the 2nd realm, and if you got a high soul, you go to the 3rd realm. So I'm told that when we make Ascension, you go to the third realm just for a short time, just for a few hours or so, and there's another component of time. So time works different when you go to the 2nd realm or higher. And 6th and 7th realm, there's 2 components of time. But anyway, you go to the 3rd realm for a short time, and then you're brought to the 2nd realm where you're taught the ways and the rules of higher density life. And that lasts about 6 weeks. And then you go to the third realm, which exists on Earth. And if you complete one cycle and you're positively or negatively oriented, then you go to the fifth step. The fifth step lasts for 1 cycle to 1.6 cycles. It lasts longer if you ascend it out of cycle. Like our cycle on Earth is ending right now. It's supposedly, everybody thought it ended on 2012, December 21st. But I'm told that it actually ends on September 21st, 2017, on the fall equinox in 2017. And then there's an Ascension window opens up, and it lasts for approximately 7 years, a little bit different, a little bit more than 7 years. And sometime during that Ascension window is open, you'll go up and make Ascension if you're qualified. The people that have the oldest souls, like if they got a whole cycle in on 8th step and they've been waiting a long time, they'll ascend first. And the people that barely have enough time in like 0.57 cycles will make Ascension last.
And what is the nature of life like when you've ascended into these new realms?
It's supposedly 100 times better. The third realm is I'm told by other websites and stuff, the realm of love. But there's a lot you can read on that, but I don't cover that too much on my website, exactly what each realm is.
Now,
I try to simple facts.
Yeah. Now, how is it that you've come to all of this? I know that you started to check your soul and check other people's soul. What is your story? How is it that you came to do all of this?
Okay, I used the pendulum to get all my information. When I was a child, I asked for a book on hypnosis for Christmas. And my aunt that had a whole apartment full of books, and they were a book reading family. She bought me this book on hypnosis, and somewhere in the book it showed how the pendulum works. So I tried it, and it moved for me without me doing anything. I don't know if you can see right now, like if I think yes, it'll start moving yes, without me jerking my hand or body to make it move. It can move in 6 different ways. And I thought it was something cool to do that everybody could do, and it wasn't important. And I tried it a little bit along the way in life and never went anywhere with it and never got anything good from it, and kind of just put it aside, except for a few minutes here and there every 5 years or so. And then when I became 56 years old, I had an awakening. Supposedly, the planet Saturn comes back to its position every 28 years. So you have a chance to get woken up spiritually when you're 28. And if you don't, then you have another chance at 56. And I guess if you don't there, you could at 84 or whatever it adds up to there. I think it's 84. Anyway, so I used the pendulum when I was 56, and I asked, am I contacting some other being? And it answered yes. And I had never asked that question before. And I got all excited. And, wow, I can do something with this. I got to keep going on this and figure out what's going on. And I had read and I had followed a lot of David Wilcock's stuff, watched his videos and read 2 or 3 of his books. And I went to one of his conferences just before my birthday when I became 56. I studied his website like crazy to prepare for the conference. And then when I went through the 3-day conference, I kind of already knew 80% of the stuff he was teaching. But that was okay. I learned some new things and met all kinds of people and stuff. I showed him that I could do the pendulum, and he acted like, who cares, big deal. And I was unhappy with that, and I was kind of determined to prove him wrong, that there's something important here. So anyway, I was told that to make Ascension from the Law of One, I read his Law of One study guide book. I didn't read all 5 books of the Law of One, but I read a study guide book, which is a summary of the 5 books. There's 2 summary books on the Law of One, and I have links for them on the bottom of my homepage. All kinds of links for the Law of One, which is my work is kind of based on. So anyway, I asked the pendulum, can I find out if somebody is polarized positive to make Ascension? And it told me yes. And I got all excited and said, well, I got to open a website to help humanity. Look, this is valuable information I can get. And I didn't have very much money or know how to work computers that good. You know, I was like an average user. And I checked it out and found out I could get going for under $200. So I opened a website and I came up with the name. I tried all different names and I got rejected and stuff. And one of them I liked was for sale for like $1,700 or something. Special soul or something like that. And then somehow the words were put in my mind, icheckyoursoul.com. And no one had that name, so I took that name. And that name has worked out perfect for what I end up doing. At first, I just, after a short while, I invented the soul score. Your percentage of love and service to others versus service to self. And I subscribed to Ben Fulford's post. And anyway, now I get by the pendulum that he's helping humanity more than anybody else on earth. He's like the #1 wanderer helping people. And you're up there real high too, Alfred. I came up with a new deal where I can ask what the wanderer skill level is, which you have before you take your wanderer contract. And I do all my ratings from 1 to 4 because the pendulum goes 4 different ways. So 1's the lowest and 4's the highest. And my skill level is rated at 2.5, which is exactly average, right in the middle. And your skill level is 4. And I got a wanderer page on my website where where wanderers that have a popular website to help humanity are listed there. And most of those people are a 3.5 or 4 skill level. To do any good and be real popular helping humanity, most people that get there and have a 3.5 or 4 skill level. But somehow I'm getting there with the lower skill level. But I mean, it took me 4 years before I got this first interview here. So I don't know how faster it went for you or other people. Maybe it is about the same or whatever. So anyway, I started advertising in Ben Fulford's comments that I could get your soul score. And it was so easy and simple that I wanted to do it for free. So I encouraged people to email me and get their soul score. And people were sending me lists and stuff. And I had to make it easier and say your list had to be up and down rather than across. So when you reply to an email, you can write on the other person's previous email. I would just write the answers on the email they sent me instead of copying all the names and all that, because I'm a real poor typist. I had a pedestrian car accident in 2005, a head injury. And no matter how hard I try, I can't get to where I can be a regular typer. I can only type two to four fingers. But I'm doing okay at it. If I get a lot of people want a soul report, I got a friend that can type fast, and I'll pay him to type it. Right now, I charge $25 for a soul report, and I've got and I offer a 30-day money-back guarantee, as PayPal does, and I got about 200 paid soul reports, and nobody's asked for their money back, and everybody has praised me and said they like it. A few people didn't write back or anything. Maybe they didn't like it a whole lot, but they didn't ask for their money back or complain or anything. Everybody's either said good things about me or not much at all. The good thing about my work is that in order to ask for a soul report, you got to be deep into spirituality to find my website and get to me. So I only work for people that are real spiritual and into spirituality. You know, the dumb jerk on the street that starts fights all the time and causes trouble, he don't want a soul report. But somebody that studies spirituality on the computer and is trying to learn all different things, they're the people that want a soul report. So I get about 30 to 40% of the people that want a soul report is a wanderer, even though only 1 out of 104 people is a wanderer. And most of the rest of the people are qualified for Ascension, but a few aren't, and I tell them where they're at on it. So normally, the younger your soul is, the lower your soul score is, and the less you care about spirituality. As soon as you get qualified for Ascension, your soul kicks in, and you start doing all good things, and you automatically get your soul polarized positively, almost 100%, I found out. I'm having trouble talking here. Doing better. Anyway, I tell your soul score, and then I tell what step of third density you're on, or if you're a wanderer, or if you're a hybrid or Illuminati.
Now, what exactly is a wanderer? Why do you call it wanderer?
Okay. Every group in the universe, like humanity as a group, has wanderers. And wanderers are beings that they made Ascension thousands of years ago on a different planet. And then they went through the upper fourth density. There's 2 fourth densities. There's the 4th dimension and the 5th dimension. If you got the high soul like us, you go to the 5th dimension to live. And if you got the low soul, you go to the 4th dimension to live. You actually, if you got a low soul, you live in the the fourth dimension for 2 cycles and kind of chill out and usually become positive. And then you automatically go to the 3rd realm or the 5th dimension. So that stops a lot of higher density beings from being negative. It causes most of them to be positive. But a lot of, there's a fair amount of negatives. I don't know, what is it? 5% or something like that might be negative. 1 out of 20 people or something like that. So, if you, we're talking about wanderers. Okay, so then you make ascension, and you go through the upper 4th density, the 5th dimension, and polarize positive and go to the 5th density. And then approximately 1/4 of a cycle into 5th density, God asks those who are qualified if they want to be a wanderer. And approximately 9 out of 1,000 people are qualified. They're spiritual enough, and they have high skills in spirituality and all that. And they're asked if they want to be a wanderer. And approximately 3 of those 9 say yes, and about 6 out of the 9 say no, because they don't want to go through the sorrow and misery of 3rd density again. You and I, Alfred, said yes. And on Earth, in humanity, the wanderer contract lasts for 1.74 cycles. Or it comes out to be 45,217 years. And when you finish your contract, you go to the 6th density, which normally lasts for 2 cycles, and you'll go on the 6th density with 1 of the 2 cycles completed already. So being a wanderer is great because you get to go, to the 6th density instead of the 4th density, which is a lot better. And then you'll usually be treated like a hero and get a high position, and everything will be fantastic for you when you get there. And the average wanderer takes in 183 lives. Normally, kind of the case is for people is about 1 life for every 100th of a cycle. So that would mean around 100 lives per cycle. But usually everybody goes a little bit above that. Most people have about 110 lives per cycle. Some have a few more, a few less. So a wanderer goes a little bit over that, but the average is 183. One guy was projected, Santo Bonacci, he's projected to have 224 lives. I'm projected to have 176 lives, and you're projected to have 177. Depends on how much time you spend in between. You spend more time on the soul plane in between lives than you do living. And you go over your last life, and you prepare for your next life with your guardian angel. The wanderers get a higher guardian angel than regular people. I can explain angels that God makes a oversoul that has 16 souls in it. And then he asks if you want to be responsible for 2nd and 3rd density. And it says yes about 1/3 of the time and says no about 2/3 of the time. when they say no, the angels go into stars and help the stars produce energy. And if they say yes, then they're assigned to a planet and to care for second and third density. Angel on the first cycle, the angel splits like 16 ways, the oversoul, and then the next step, I think it splits. I have to look at my website on that, like 12 ways. Or anyway, on the top one, the angel only splits one way. The top angel. There's probably 10,000 of those on Earth or whatever. But the regular people get a guardian angel that's on the third step, and wanderers get a guardian angel that's on the fourth step. So angel has more soul and more talent, or more, has learned more things, lived longer, and has a bigger soul. Okay. And
Right. So, how are things on the planet now, do you think? I mean, so far, are we making progress? Is it moving in the right direction? What do you think?
I think after Ascension starts, we're going to quickly end this negative control and move into the golden age. Now, what was supposed to happen was, and it was predicted in the Law of One, there's supposedly two kinds of space. There's regular space and imaginary space. They told me to say it like that. It's probably, there's a better term for it. But regular space has realms 1, 3, 5, and 7. And imaginary space has realms 2, 4, and 6. So when you make Ascension, you go to the third realm, you'll stay on Earth. And then when you go to the fifth density, you'll go in the other kind of space. And then when you get to the sixth density, you'll come back to Earth. And sometimes when a high soul group is taken over by reptilians and evil people controlling the planet, like is the case right now on Earth, God moves the planet into the other kind of space. And then everybody on the planet goes to realm 2. And in each realm, the matter is expressed differently. Supposedly, the matter is called crystallized in the second realm. You get a body that's 1.5 times as tall, but only weighs 10% as much, and you can see through the body. And you don't need to eat or drink, but you can. And you don't need to talk, but you can. And you can have sex, but there's no fluid exchanged. And high souls can make children, but they make them by holding their hands together and creating energy in between their hands and telling God that they're going to care for a child and raise a child. And then out of the energy comes a child that's like 6 months to 1 year old. And that's how childs are born, not by having sex. And the low souls, they can have sex, but they can't have children. And they kind of just go in the second realm for 2 cycles to chill out. And since there's nothing to control anybody over, since you don't have to have any food, shelter, clothing, or anything, nobody can control you. And so most of the low soul beings tend to go positive and be friendly with everybody, since there's nothing to fight over. And it's like they kind of like chill out, and then they and then they advance to the third realm and go through the same as everybody else.
Right. Now, you said that when Ascension starts, then we're going to be going over into the Golden Age. But when is Ascension going to start?
September 21st, 2017.
I see. September 21st, 2017. Okay.
Now there's a thing going with this brown dwarf star. A few people think it's going to make a trip through our inner solar system and cause turmoil on Earth. And I think that, I'm told that's going to happen, but I'm told that Earth's going to be on the right place in the orbit, so Earth doesn't get blasted by that too bad. But the people who control everything might automatically shut the power off for 3 months. And I think that that's going to happen around March 2016, less than a year away. A lot of astronomers got pictures of it nearby, and supposedly 7 astronomers were killed by the governments to keep their mouths shut. And a few pictures have leaked out. They show a brown dwarf star with 7 planets orbiting it nearby, and it'll pass through the inner solar system for about a 3-month span, where its gravity, it's about 1/5 the size of the sun. So its gravity will affect Earth real bad and cause all kinds of earthquakes all over the place. And some of the earthquakes will generate tsunamis and volcanoes to go off. So sometimes the Earth is right near where the brown dwarf comes by, supposedly every 3,657 years. And it kind of timed in with Ascension this time pretty close. But supposedly, a lot of these evil people that are controlling everything are going to go hide in underground bases, and God's going to have the earthquakes destroy these underground places and wipe out a lot of them. And when they come out of them, the rest of the people are going to rise up and take control of the Earth away from them. And that'll be the start of the Golden Age.
Now, you've written a bit about the Golden Age. Could you share with us what you found that to be, what you found that that's going to be like? Some of the different aspects.
There won't need to be a strong, big central government. There won't be no shortages of anything. Everybody will have adequate food, clothing, and shelter, education, technology, and all that stuff. And it will all be free. You won't have to pay to live on your own planet anymore. Supposedly ETs come here and says, these people are paying to live on their own planet? What kind of crap is that? They got pulled on them. So, and then they'll release, they have all kinds of advanced technology with free energy. So they won't have to burn oil anymore or pollute the planet or fracking or any of that nonsense. There's all kinds of devices. The universe is supposedly full of energy, torsion energy that's going around us like crazy. And it's easy to take some of this free energy and power devices. There's like 6,000 patents that have been blocked by the government so they can continue selling oil to us. I mean, it's just ridiculous what's going on. All that's going to end. All these all this higher technology is going to come out. The friendly ETs are going to visit Earth and help us from fixing up the planet and helping us on how the golden age should work out, how it should be governed. There'll probably be strong local governments, and there'll be a real weak central government. Maybe they'll just have a military to protect the planet, or have, what do you call it, deals where they explore space or stuff like that. I can't think of the right word to use.
Right.
Projects. The central government will do projects that the whole planet gets involved in, like going off planet or something like that, or using the free energy to make a desert green and have more place for living, and using the technology to clean up the damage we've made on the planet already. The central government will do things like that instead of taxing and harassing everybody and spying on everybody. All that nonsense will stop. And all the resources will be shared with everybody.
Right. Do you have anything that you have wanted to say on the program, but you haven't had a chance to share it yet?
Oh, I don't know if I said this clearly. When your oversoul is made, you're asked, do you want to be responsible for matter? And 1/3 of the oversouls say yes and get a high soul, and 2/3 say no and get a low soul. And then they're responsible for keeping empty space made. And they're in the 12 DNA groups. They're not in those 6 groups I named that have souls, that have high souls.
Right.
I wanted to make that clear. And it's the same type of question is asked on that angel oversoul. Okay, on the densities, first density lasts for 8 cycles. Second density lasts for 5 cycles. Third density lasts for 3 cycles, and they're all in realm 1. And then there's 2 fourth densities. Realm 2 is the 4th dimension. Some high soul groups get moved into there to escape the negative control. And they don't like it, and life's boring and terrible. And we were scheduled to do that, and it said it in the long 1. But because we invented the internet and all these evil people start getting exposed like crazy, they canceled it in 2007, and we're not going to go in the 4th dimension. It was supposed to be like in January 2014, but it didn't happen.
What was canceled there?
Of the Earth moving into realm 2, of the Earth moving into the other kind of space, and
I see.
moving into realm 2 to escape the negative control.
I see.
That got canceled. A lot of people still think the Earth's going to go to the 4th dimension. And some people think the planet can make ascension, but all the higher realms are on the planet already. So I mean, what's it going to ascend to? And some people think that they're right in that reincarnation is a trap and you don't have to do it. But what are those things called? I can't think of it. Some kind of demon or whatever. what I wanted to say is a soul that's on the soul plane would take a body, about almost 100% of them would take a body born without any legs rather than miss their chance to incarnate. So a soul on the soul plane wants to get a body and wants to incarnate.
What are the benefits of incarnating?
You get a body.
I see. And what benefits come with that?
Well, you get to advance through third density, and you get to go through the past 15 spiritual lessons, and you have all kinds of experiences which you need to have in order to go to the fourth step. Supposedly, without having a body, it's no fun. And having a body is like way more interesting. Even though in the third density there's a lot of sorrow and misery, but a soul wants to go through all that and advance and go to the higher step.
How would there be sorrow and misery in the fourth density? What would that come from?
So maybe if you ascended negative, then there would be like a pecking order and somebody controlling you.
I see.
You go to a different planet, live with all negatives, and
I see.
Somebody else. But if you get there positively, life's 100 times better and real interesting.
I see.
All the people in the higher densities are all focused on third density, on watching and helping third density.
I see.
I was going to say, when you get the third cycle the third realm is the upper fourth density. You spend one cycle there. And then the fourth realm is fifth density, and you spend one cycle to 1.6 cycles. You would spend longer there if you ascended out of cycle, so you get back in.
Right.
And then,
right.
Then the fifth realm is sixth density, and you spend 2 cycles in that. And if you're a negative, in order to make ascension, you have to get polarized positive, and you got 8 cycles to do it in. And if you don't make it by the 8th cycle, your soul gets recycled.
Right. Now,
let me finish. The 7th density lasts for 8 cycles, and that's the 6th realm. And then the 7th realm is the 8th density, and that lasts for 18 cycles. Maybe this will help me talk better.
Right. How can people again get a hold of you?
Okay. Here's my website. You can see it.
icheckyoursoul.com. And also on Skype, I am GUAC77.
I'm not on Skype, yeah.
Yeah, GUAC77, and icheckyoursoul.com.
And go to my website. My email address is listed in real big letters all over.
Yeah.
You're encouraged to send emails.
Yeah. And if do you have any like words or thoughts that you'd like to leave our audience with at this time?
I'm not a good writer, and I don't have any help, but I got a lot of unique information on my website, It's just reading only. It's about 10 pages or something like that, or maybe 15, I guess. And visit my website and read some of the information. And if you want a soul report, send me an email, and I ask for a $25 donation on PayPal. And on my homepage, it lists exactly what you get in a soul report. It explains it real clearly.
Okay, so just to give you to give people a kind of a heads up, I had my soul report done, and do you want to read from it? Do you have it there, or?
Yeah, you send it back.
I've got it here. If you don't.
Okay, I'll read what I wrote to you.
Yeah.
Hi, Alfred. I wrote before at least once, but you didn't reply. Maybe this time I had the right subject listed, or you weren't busy, or had less emails. I love your middle name, but I can't remember how to spell it. It smells so French. Lots of laughs. Oh, I see it. Lambert. I'm not pronouncing it right, maybe. I'm sorry. My Skype name is Guac77. No parentheses. I put that out there, huh? Now for your soul report. To understand this report measure, please visit my website, icheckyoursoul.com. Your soul score is 56. You're a wanderer. You have 0.23 cycles left on your 1.74 cycle contract you made with God, the source. You've had 152 past lives on Earth as a wanderer. You came from a planet about 35 light years away. And then I put in parentheses, 8% of Earth's wanderers come from this planet, the most of any planet. And on this, where the people have bird DNA, which means you have a bird soul making you more perceptive. I'll interject here. Most wanderers that come from Earth are from bird people planets. And I write, there's a small wanderer section near the bottom of my new page, which has got God, Matter, and Life, I think it's called. Wanderers have special skills and are on a mission of sorts. On a scale 1 to 4, and 4 being the best, you are rated a 4 at doing your mission on all your lives combined, and are rated a 4 on this life also. So you got a perfect rating. But the rating's real simple. Okay, you have hardly any bad karma, and you have a fair amount of good karma. Good and bad karma are equally important and don't cancel out. That's important. You want to not get bad karma, and you want to get good karma. I rate the karma in 4 levels. 1's hardly any, 2's a little bit, 3's a fair amount, and 4's a whole lot for good and bad karma. Okay, then I write, you've had bad karma many lives ago, discharged it, and your soul has avoided it ever since. You've been accumulating good karma just about every life and have been using it to get a high quality reality or an easy life and a good family. So I'll interject. If you have a lot of good karma, you'll get a better life than if you don't have a lot of good karma. And then I write, where you're not poor and get caught and get taught good moral values. If you don't have any good karma, you can get bored and live in a war zone too. Okay, then I write, you're doing so well, it makes this report easy. You have a good soul score, about average for a wanderer, and hardly any wanderers are over 58. I remember yours is 56. Now your soul score is 58. I checked it today, so it went up.
Wow.
You have perfect ratings. Less than 10% of wanderers have perfect ratings. And you're doing great at helping humanity. So your soul has guided you into the right activities, and you don't need to change anything there, while over half of the wanderers need to. You have about 24 lives to go. So you're on pace to have 177 lives as a wanderer. The average is 183. Because of your skills and what you do, you take a little more time in between lives to prepare, which is good and has gotten you the perfect ratings. A lot of wanderers, I'll interject, a lot of wanderers take too many lives, and then they don't do well in the lives, and they don't get the 4 rating. They get a rate and a half now. You get like a 2.5 rating or something, or maybe a 3. The average rating is like 3.25. I do it in half, so. Okay, then I write, I'm told you took extra long in between this life and the last one, and it's paying off. You are doing so many complicated things like judging and writing books. I hope I got that right. I said, okay, and I write, well, now you have a better idea of who you are and why you're here, to raise the spirituality of those around you. So tell me what you think and let you know if you have any questions, as there may be something important to you that I can get. And then I asked to be interviewed. And since I started charging for, how do I get this? I guess I just back this out. Since I started charging for soul reports, I've improved them a little bit. So I got a few more things in there, and I'm doing a little bit better. The reports got a little bit more information than yours have. I'm constantly improving as I'm going along.
Very good.
So if you want to find out if you're a wanderer or if you're qualified for Ascension, get a soul report. And I'll explain, and I'll tell you what you need to do to improve your life too in spirituality.
Very good. Well,
I guess I didn't do too good this first interview. I'm kind of confused and stuff.
no. This has been a very, very, very interesting and in-depth introduction. And is there anything that you would like to add to this session?
I think I well covered it, I guess.
Okay. Well, we really want to thank you for your service, and it's good to meet a fellow wanderer.
Thank you.
I know that it was very good when we met at my we met at my home, and it was kind of wow.
Such a fun time, yeah.
Yeah, and now we can do our, we can meet again, and we look forward to your coming back again in the future.
I'll tell you what happened with that guy Blair.
Yeah.
I was doing free soul reports then, and I wasn't charging. So I sent him a soul report.
Yeah.
And he found out who he was and why he was here, and he's so excited. He says, I'm sending you a ticket. You got to come to my house for 5 days. So I flew to Vancouver and spent 5 days with him, and then I'd come over to see you.
Oh, that's great. And since then, Blair has joined the board of our Omniversity here.
Wonderful.
And has become a real contributor to our community here of furthering education in all these spiritual areas. So
yeah, once somebody finds out they're a wanderer, now they get in their head, well, I'm on a mission. I'm supposed to help humanity, and I got to get going here.
Yeah, because then there's a whole objective scheme, and you know how you fit in.
Yeah, I answer all follow-up questions for free. You can keep sending me 10, 12 emails in a row, with different questions concerning spirituality in your soul report, and I'll keep answering those for free. And you can, and if you don't want a soul report and you just want to send me an email and ask about some aspect of spirituality that's relating to my website or whatever, I'll be glad to talk about that. I try to stay with the simple black and white facts rather than the complicated energies. And
Right.
I try to do the simple stuff and let other people
Yeah.
on their websites do the complicated stuff, like you.
Yeah, no, but this I find very fascinating because it deals with the structural components of how the universes and the multiverse within the omniverse is constructed for soul development. So it's a real advance in our understanding as we go through this. Well, I really want to thank you, Gary, and I really cherish this opportunity to have introduced you to our audience. And I would say that all of you who feel drawn to get involved in soul work, because the whole purpose for which the universes have been created is for soul development. So you might as well take advantage of it and be more scientific about how to develop your soul.
Yeah, all universes have the same DNA signal, but each galaxy or planets express it differently. But there's that same 18 lines of DNA everywhere.
Excellent. Very, very good. Well, I salute you and I thank you, and I'm sure that everybody watching thanks you for your service. And we look forward to your work.
Okay.
And thank you very much.
Okay.
Good enough then.
Okay, goodbye.
Thank you, Gary.